Hi everybody, welcome back to LTF1. Today we're going to be talking about Hamilton and Verstappen and where the title fight might take us this season. Before we get into that, as always, subscribe. And we've got a special announcement for you today. We are partnered with f1india.in. They are a group of motorsport fans in India who are hoping to create a community for Indian fans of motorsport. They do a lot more than just F1. So if you do want to be a part of their community, then go check that website out, f1.india. f1india.in. The link is in the description. But yeah, we had a pretty good race between the two title contenders this weekend, and it's looking like it's going to shape up to be a good season, isn't it?
Yeah, well, as we sort of said before in our last video, in our race review, it was definitely everything that people want to see, and we're hoping it'll continue through the season. So, yeah, moving on to Imola next. Hopefully it'll be more of the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure, as I'll mention it in our preview when the time comes for that. It seems like ages between these two races, but I'm not sure that Imola is going to be as conducive to good racing as Bahrain was. But with the cars, obviously this year it's leaning towards the high rate concept that Red Bull have had in its disadvantage Mercedes. But do you think the fight's going to go all the way to the end of the season? Because at some point the teams need to switch focus to next year. Someone needs to give up developing this car first.
Yeah, and as much as Mercedes won't want to, they usually sort of do that a little bit earlier than Red Bull. So I think if anyone's going to blink first, I think it might be Mercedes. But then again, because this year is so different, because Red Bull's car looks quicker, I don't know. It'll be a bit of a Mexican standoff between the two.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. But I think if Mercedes do decide to stop developing this year's car earlier, then definitely it's Red Bull's championship to win.
Yeah, and Mercedes have always done that because they've been so far out ahead, they've not needed to worry about continuing to develop. They know that Red Bull's going to be on their heels at the end of the season, but they've had that 5/10 in hand. This time they don't. But yeah, both teams are going to have to, at some point, look towards 2022, Red Bull included, unless, what I was thinking, Red Bull, for me, I think they desperately need to win a championship or make Max drivers champion in this era of cars, so that when we get to the next regulation, if it's not working for them, they have a reason to stick around. Because if they get through this whole era and they've not won a championship, you've got to believe that the backers might be thinking then, if they don't get a great start to the new regulations, what's the point of us being here? Because in 2014, They were like, we'll get it in a couple of years. It's not come around yet. So I do
think it's going to be a tough one for Red Bull, because this year looks like their best chance for a while. So they're going to want to throw everything at it this year, but then they're going to eventually need to start thinking about next year. So it'll be tough to sort of see when they're going to switch their focus.
I feel like that's where also having the sister team, obviously it's not a junior team anymore, they're saying the sister team with AlphaTauri, Red Bull could benefit if they take their chances with getting things developed at AlphaTauri, obviously to the extent that you can, not everything, and then kind of concentrating on this season so they can end this era on a high. Maybe they take a small hit with the first year of the regulations, but I don't know. What would you prioritize?
I think Red Bull, because their team's very much, and the whole sort of brand philosophy of Red Bull is doing sort of extreme wild things. Like if you look at all their things they've done with F1 cars, like zero gravity and all that. So I think they need something right now. I think they need an instant bit of success. So I think personally, and I come the end of the season, I might be completely wrong. I probably will be completely wrong. I usually am. But I think that they're going to go all in for this year, because they'll really want to, they need a bit of instant success, as I said.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think if the worst case scenario, if they go all in this year and they still don't come up, then I'd be worried about Red Bull's future in the sport.
Yeah, because I think this year, especially in this era, this is where they've peaked so far. So if they don't win this year, I can just see it slowly sort of sloping back off in the next few years.
Can you see? Do you think Perez will give him give them any problems? Because obviously when he was at McLaren, he was much younger, but there were problems there.
Yeah, but I think an older, more experienced Checo Perez, I don't know. Again, it's tough to say because Red Bull's second seat always seems to be cursed next to Max Verstappen. But at the same time, I think an older, 31 or 32 now, Perez, much more mature Perez, I don't think he'll be too many issues. I think he'll do a solid job, a bit like Bottas at Mercedes, but maybe not on the podium as often. I think, yeah.
Can you see Perez being happy with that though? Because even say 3 years ago with Ocon at Racing Point, they were clashing constantly. Like he was older and more mature, but that passion, and that was for P7 back then, P6, P7 they were fighting over. If he's got a chance at the podium or at even the top step, I think Red Bull might have a bit of a mission on their hands, trying to convince him to essentially let Max take the championship, if that's the championship winning car.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to be a bit more, what's the word? Is sterile the right word? Not entirely sure. But I think he'll be a bit more tame. That's the word I was looking for, tame. He'll be a bit more tame this year if he does fight for positions with Max, because the team's centered around Max. The team wants Max to win the Drivers' Championship, so I don't think we'll see that sort of aggression again. I think he'll be a bit more subdued in his racing if they're fighting for position.
Maybe. I can also see Red Bull doing, if you remember when Leclerc first started at Ferrari and they just used to kind of forget about him, and then 50 laps into the race they'd be like, oh, he needs a pit stop. Yeah. They could start pulling those type of tactics out, because we know all their eggs are in Max Verstappen's basket. Obviously that assumes that Perez can match Max for pace, but I think after a few races he might just get there.
Well, according to Dr. Helmut, no one can match Max for pace.
No one.
I saw his quotes this morning.
Anything you can do, Max can do better. According to Marco. I'm surprised he didn't say anything about Tsunoda though, did he, in that interview? He was just slagging off Gasly because obviously Tsunoda is his new Max. Yeah, because after Perez, obviously it looks like it's going to be Tsunoda in that Red Bull seat. Yeah. And because Tsunoda's sort of long-term replacement. So I think he's going to be very careful with what he says about Tsunoda. But Gasly, because it doesn't look like there's much of a way back for him now, he seems to slag off Gasly every opportunity or discredit him for his work. But having said that, we did a video on Dr. Marco, linked up there somewhere, if I remember. And we said in that video, his management style and the way he speaks and everything is a bit abrasive, and it comes across as him being stupid sometimes. But at the same time, he's built an amazing team and an amazing driver program that many drivers have come through. So do you think there is any credit to what he's saying? Do you think maybe Max would be 2 tenths quicker? Maybe. Max, I do think overall he's probably a better driver, but I think he could have just given Gasly credit for doing a good job. Yeah, of course. And obviously we don't want to start a war. I know F1 Twitter's been active on this in the past couple of days, but I feel like, does that mean if we get to Imola and Tsunoda we get halfway through the season and Tsunoda's a couple of tenths clear of Gasly, what does that mean for Red Bull? Because if they promote him to the top team, then they've got massive inter-team rivalry on their hands and difficulties. Or do you just pick one and release the other? Yeah, I think, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be much of a debate for Red Bull, because they have Max Verstappen. He's their ultimate star boy. And I think Tsunoda, whilst he's had a very good debut, I think it'll be a while before they sort of see him as a serious alternative if Max doesn't win anything in the next few years. Do you think Max sticks around? Yeah. For the next few years? I think if this year doesn't go to plan and the first year of the new regs don't, I think he's leaving. Yeah, but I don't know. There's been some talk of
him maybe ending up at Mercedes in the future, or I think I saw Ferrari as well.
I think Brown said Russell and Verstappen for 2022 at Mercedes, or for 2023 at Mercedes. But I'm not sure.
I mean, if it's those two in 2022 or 2023, I can't see Mercedes not winning championships for a few more years. And that's again where, if they don't have that success this year, that will sort of snowball into next year and maybe Max Verstappen leaving. And then after that, even if they do get Tsunoda, if they do promote Tsunoda into the first team, I can just see it slowly sort of going downhill for Red Bull.
I can't see if I think Wolff signed a 3-year contract with Mercedes, but even if leadership changes at Mercedes, you'd assume it's going to be someone that Wolff puts in, or James Allison or someone like that. And I don't see them ever going back to having 2 strong drivers. They've shown that they can do the job perfectly well with 1 star and a supporting driver. I can't see them taking on the headache again, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, because I guess if they did, it would just probably end up creating more friction than it would success, I guess, because if you have 2 very competitive drivers that both want to be number 1 driver, then it's just going to cause us problems like we mentioned earlier with Perez and Ocon.
But we'd love to see it for the show. That is amazing. 2016, one of the best seasons, despite their dominance.
I think in one of our videos, we said 2016 was the best year of this current era. I think that's what we agreed on.
I'd argue for last year, just because of how crazy everything was. But if not last year, then 2015, 2016, just all those races with Nico and Lewis at each other's throats. Someone's even made a documentary on YouTube. I think it's called War of the Silver Arrows or something.
Yeah, look at our free promotions today for everyone.
I'm pretty sure that channel is a lot bigger than ours. If anything, we're riding deck.
We should ask for a shout out back.
Let's see this first.
But I think because Mercedes have sort of seen that formula of a first driver and a supporting driver works, I do agree that they'll probably end up just sticking with that with whatever they do next.
Does that mean Bottas' seat is safe? Because no one's better than him.
Yeah, but Bottas has come out with some quotes saying about how he's going to be selfish this year and how he's not a second place guy.
Standard Bottas. Start of every season. I've changed. No, you haven't.
But maybe, I don't know. Because a lot of fans there isn't a lot of huge Bottas fans that I've ever seen. So I don't know. It'll be a tough one for Mercedes.
You say that, but my dad, who doesn't watch Formula One, he walks in sometimes when the Formula One's on. And I don't know what the conversation was, but I must have said, just, can you even name a Formula One driver? And the first name he mentioned was Bottas. And I looked at him and I was like, what? Who? Why? And he's like, yeah, Bottas, famous. I was like, for what? Coming second. He said Bottas' name before he said Lewis's, and now on that bombshell, as Jeremy Clarkson would say. Let's end. Comment below what you think about this year's title fight and where it's going, the implications for next year. And we'll have a read. We'll reply as we always do. Jules, if you're still listening, can't wait to see what you're going to say. But yeah.
Thank you all for watching. If you want to see more of our videos, be sure to subscribe, like the video. You can find us on Instagram at LTF1Official. Our website is ltf1official.com. And you can find us on Twitter, LTF1Official. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Say LTF Official. LTF1 Official one more time. You should go for it.
LTF1 Official.
I don't think anyone watches this long into the videos anyways.
Average watch time